Hi friends, welcome. My name is Oceana. So glad that you're here. Today I'm sharing all of the books that I read in December. So I'm going to write them all down below and I'm going to talk about them grouped in genres. So I'll put timestamps down below if you want to skip around. But hang out with me. I'm here to chat books and I will talk about all of the content ratings, spice, language, things like that in the books to hopefully help you figure out if you want to read these books. It's quite a range. It's not just Christmas books. I was kind of in a thriller mood, so I did read a couple of thrillers and then a whole bunch of other random ones too. So let's get into it. Starting with Christian fiction and Christian adjacent, the first book that I'll talk about is The Sisters of Seaview by Julie Klassen. I finally read this book, you guys. I'm so proud. This has been on a couple TBRs and I just never got around to it because it is quite thick. And I did end up giving this 3 stars. It was long and most of it was just kind of boring. Like just seeing these girls, these sisters figure life out, it just wasn't that exciting. It's a cool premise because basically you have this mom, she has a bunch of daughters, and the dad is passed away for some reason. And they are running out of money, so they have to put their like big mansion house and turn it into an Airbnb style. So they get all of these random different kinds of people coming to the house, and each sister has kind of a life lesson that they're working on that they learn, and they meet different kinds of people through this experience. And I feel like that could have been really cozy and but the plot was just not there. Like there was some cute parts, like there was a little romance that was forming and definitely some good life lessons in there, but nothing stood out about this book. It's weird because I did like the ending and I liked where the story might be going because I think there's 3 books in this trilogy series, I don't know. And I know there's a Christmas novella that goes with this series, and so I might continue but not really in a hurry, and I probably won't continue, let's be real, because there's so many other better books that I would read, especially for this to be historical and so many different characters. There wasn't someone I was rooting for, and there wasn't a relationship that I super latched onto, so I wouldn't really recommend this book, but I finally got it off my NetGalley, so proud of myself. Next, a contemporary romance book is The Lumberjack from the Cabin Next Door by Emily Hampton. This is a Christian romance book, and the author did kindly send this to me. She found me on TikTok, and we were messaging. This was really good. I was very impressed because the writing, it felt like she put a lot of effort into making sure that the main character, you get to know her and you get to know her trauma. The story, yes, it's about the romance and this lumberjack that she meets next door, but it's so much more than that. It had this kind of style vibe of like a Becky Wade book where, yes, it's rooted in romance, but faith comes first and the redemption of the characters come first. And I loved that. So this was very impressive. I gave it a solid 4 stars. It meandered a little bit. Like I would find sometimes there'd be some scenes where I'm like, get on with it, you know? But for the most part though, I was very impressed for this to be indie published, and I'm assuming you can get it on Kindle Unlimited, but it's also on Amazon, so I'll link it down below. But very impressed with this author. I definitely want to follow her and see what other books she comes out with. I just loved the faith message in this book. And then the romance was super sweet. A lot of different funny moments too. So overall, very impressed with this book. The main thing you're following is this girl finds out that her aunt has passed away and that the aunt willed her cabin to the girl. So she's coming to the cabin to fix it up and sell it. Classic story. And of course, there's a guy who lives next door. And the aunt's will has some specific stipulations that she has to follow before she can sell the house. So that's what the story follows. And it was just such a sweet story. So yeah, highly recommend this one. Out of Green Gables by Ellen Montgomery. I did finish this in December. I started it in November, but I started at the very end. So I was pleasantly surprised. I was so prepared to find this boring, but I have a whole reading vlog reading this book, and my experience was very good. I thought Anne was adorable. I didn't know because I had these kind of like little bit of images in my mind of what the movie was because I watched the movie when I was a kid, way before, of course, reading this book. And so I thought that Anne was kind of a brat and not like a nice person, but she's actually a lovely girl. And there is faith in this book. Like they go to church, they pray. It was actually really sweet that way. But Anne's character was just adorable. Like everything that she thought and did, it was so authentic. and very inspiring in a way. Like the way that Anne sees the world, it was just so cute and beautiful, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I really like this book. I see the hype. It was 4 stars for me only because once like Anne started aging, like it starts when she's, I don't know, 10 or 11, and it ends when she's 16, and kind of her teenage years, I felt like it wasn't as interesting. But then there were some parts that were really good. And then the ending was heartbreaking but beautiful, and yeah. There were some characters that drove me nuts, and then some characters I absolutely loved. But overall, like, Anne, of course I see the hype. Of course I want to keep reading this series. And it's so sweet that something like this exists because it's so wholesome. Like, truly nothing to worry about in this book. It's just life lessons of a kid, and seeing adults like own their mistakes as well, and seeing how you don't perfectly raise a child. Like, you have the best intentions, but you still can be too harsh or make silly rules or just misinterpret something. And I did like to see that like imperfection and how it's messy raising kids. So I really like this book. I definitely recommend it. Okay, another Christian adjacent is The Warrior Maiden by Melanie Dickerson. So this is my first full book that I've read by Melanie Dickerson. I did attempt to read something else, The Huntress of Thornbeck Forest, something like that. And I DNF'd that book because it was just too juvenile and boring. But The Warrior Maiden worked. It's a Mulan retelling for sure. And it was a fun story. I gave it a solid 4 stars. Like, it's not the best thing I've ever read, but it's definitely young adult friendly. You follow this girl who substitutes in for her dad in this war, and she makes friends with one of the guys on the team, and she's pretending to be a boy, but she's really good. Like, she's a really good archer, and they eventually find out that she's a girl and all the drama that comes from that. But I found it interesting. I liked the twist that she put on the story, and there was definitely some like family drama that they had to work through, like brother drama. And there was romance. Like, they do, I don't remember if they kiss, but they definitely don't go past kissing. They do talk about being attracted to each other, but very mildly. There's no language, and I do think that this is young adult friendly. So if your young adult likes Mulan retellings, then this is a good one. And if you are a young adult, if you're a teenager, I do think that this is a good recommendation. So it wasn't like my perfect book, of course, but still solid 4 stars, nothing to say against it, and I'm definitely going to read more from this author. Then just like plain romance is That Fine Line by Cindy Steele. This is like a novella that she wrote, and I read it on Kindle Unlimited, I think. Or no, I have it. Wait a second. Wait, no, I don't. Okay, never mind. I have The Christmas Spark, which is kind of in that series, but I read that in November. So That Fine Line is not Christmas themed. It's just whatever. And I didn't like it that much. I gave it 3 stars because I found it kind of insufferable. I didn't like the romance, and it's kind of forgettable too. It's quite short, but I just remember thinking that the maturity of the characters wasn't there. I need to see mature characters if they're adults. Enough of this like jumping to conclusions and not being able to communicate, and I don't know, it's just, but it wasn't even that. It was just, oh yeah, it wasn't that. Okay. It was enemies to lovers. That's what it is. Okay. So you follow this girl. Okay. It's all coming back. Okay. So you follow this girl. She went off to go to the big city because she didn't want to be in her small town anymore. She meets a guy. She gets engaged to him. But this guy is mega big city. He kind of expects her, like, she's a hick at heart. That's definitely what it is. And she goes home for the summer, for a last summer before she's moving to California. And she sees a guy from her childhood who's working with her dad, and she's like, why did you hire him? Like, he's annoying, whatever. But they keep having to work together, and he brings out the hickness in her and like accepts her for who she truly is. But he bugs her. Like, he really bugs her. They pull pranks, and this was where the pranks were just too much. Like, I was just like, really, give it up, like, be adults here. But she like couldn't help herself that she had to prank him. That's what it was. So wouldn't really recommend, and it didn't really excite me to read the rest of the books in this series. I think this is one of her earlier series. Her standalone like single contemporary romance books are the best. So stick with that. I may still keep reading because I do want to read her to zero, I think, but this wasn't it for me. Okay, the one Christmas book that I read in December, everything else Christmas I read in November. So the one Christmas book is Christmas at Plum Manor by Roseanna M. White. This was my Patreon book club book pick, and I give it 3 stars. Was not impressed with this book. Mostly boring, mostly just like a bunch of just words that aren't interesting. Like sometimes it sounds kind of harsh, but I'm telling you, like, zero intrigue here, zero interest, just like, I don't even know how to explain this. I barely even remember what it's about, to be honest. I skimmed it. I think they make sugar plums. Is that a thing? And then there's romance, and I don't have much to say, guys. It was boring, and that's all I can say. I probably won't talk about it again, and really this author's not for me. I don't like her writing style. I find it boring. So that is way too bad. I think I need to just steer clear from her, because I tried her like fantasy book from this year too. Also thought it was boring. So like her writing style just doesn't click with me. I'm done. Okay, 2 thrillers to talk about. I was in a thriller mood and I'm still kind of in one. I don't know. Sometimes thrillers just are the mood for me, and here we go. So I listened to the audiobook for Ward D by Frida McFadden with Cassandra, my sister. She is a nurse, my sister, and Ward D follows like a psychiatric hospital. So adjacent to what my sister deals with, not exactly, but it was spooky. But I will say also kind of, what do you call it? Like not campy, but just like ridiculous and super unrealistic. So it was definitely entertaining, very, very entertaining, 3-star level, but the actual like what happened, storyline, twist, all the things, I was like, this is dumb though. Like this could never actually be a thing. It just is so unrealistic. So anyways, you follow this nurse, or this resident, this doctor girl student being a resident, and she is assigned with her class. Well, no. This resident doctor girl is assigned with her other friend who is her ex-boyfriend, but he is also a resident. They are assigned to this Ward D. The Ward D is locked. Like you go in and they lock it and you can't come out all night because it's dangerous, because the people in there, I don't know. And stuff happens in Ward D. And it's really ridiculous. A little bit bloody, but ridiculous bloody. like seriously, jelly? Red jelly. What? And just like, I don't know. She wasn't completely dumb though, which I appreciated, but I just think like do some research before you do these kind of things, you know? Do some research. And then really like the way that like power was messed with and whatever, I'm like, this would never be okay. Like authorities would come immediately. So anyways, so that was kind of silly, but entertaining. And I will continue to read from this author because nothing icky happens. Like there's a little bit of language. Yes, there's probably like at least 1 F word, 0 spice. Like they talk about it, but it's not upsetting is what I'll say. And there you go. How many times can I say it was entertaining? And Cassandra liked it. I think she liked it more than I did, because like she knew some of the like things they were talking about, whereas I was just like, huh? So there's that. Okay, but then I listened to as well, Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera, is that right? Because I put this on hold a long time ago. It was kind of one of the popular thrillers of, actually I don't even think it came out in 2025. I think it's a 2024 release, but whatever. I saw it and I heard it's about podcasts, so I was like, okay, I will put it on hold. And then it came in, so I started listening to it, and definitely a very well done audiobook. Like it literally felt like I was listening to a movie as well as like a podcast, because there were like a little bit of sound effects for the podcast and the narration was just really good. You had 2 different narrators because it was dual point of view. You followed this girl and this guy. The guy's the narrator host. The girl, something happened in her past where some night she is out and she is with her best friend, and her best friend dies, and everyone thinks that she killed her best friend, but there was no evidence to convict her. So she leaves her small town and is like, I gotta get out of here. But then she comes back because this podcast guy is like, I want to solve this case because it's an unsolved murder. And he's like, can I interview you for my podcast? And she's like, Yes. So she's definitely unhinged, this character, but I did find it quite fascinating. As the book went on, more language came into play, so there were some F words, and they said Jesus a couple times too, which I hate, especially listening to it. Something about listening to someone say Jesus to swear is just so upsetting. So there was a couple times I almost DNF'd the book, but I was hooked by the mystery though. So I did listen to it. I gave it 2 stars, you guys. Do not recommend this book because there is also sexual content. Like, it's not graphic, but it's clear what they're doing, and I didn't like that either. I felt like it took away from the mystery. I thought the mystery was really good, actually. I really liked the twist. I liked everything going on, but at the same time, so much of the characters, I guess, and the drama was wrapped up in sex. So, like, that's kind of lame, I think, and it could have been something so much cooler, I think, as well. So it is what it is. I gave it 2 stars. Don't recommend it. Done. Okay, and then I listened to a nonfiction that I'll talk about briefly, but we'll kind of move on because you probably don't care. It's called Everything Money, or Everything But Money, something like that, by Jessica something. I'll put the cover. I did like this. I like it because I found her recently on YouTube because she's a Canadian like finance person. And as you guys know, if you don't, I bought a house with my sister. We moved into it in February. So we've already been having to like make bank appointments, payments, things like that. And I need to be financially literate to make sure I don't lose everything, you know? So I found this girl and I really like the way that she presents information, and plus it's from a Canadian perspective, which is hard to find. So I read her book through the library. She reads the audiobook, which was great. And the first part of it I found fascinating because she did talk a little bit about the psychology of money and how our childhood and our parents and the way we're raised really impacts how we view money as an adult. And the thing she was saying, I was like, I totally get that, like fully was connecting. And then she talked about her childhood, and she grew up in the same province that I live in. So that's cool. She grew up in British Columbia. She lives in Ontario now, but it was cool to also hear some like local stuff, you know? And the only thing is, the more she went on, I was hoping for more, I guess, practical tips. She went more like the mental health route, and she got into, I call it getting into the weeds of just like covering too many bases. Like which I get probably you have to do, but she just like made sure to talk about every single person that could possibly be reading this book. I was just like, just get on with it, you know? So 3 stars, but still useful, still worth the listen. And I'm glad that I listened to it. So there you go. I did forget to say that I'm also going to share a little book haul, a Christmas book haul at the end of this video, which is what I tend to do to make sure more people watch this video, because December wrap-ups don't usually get a lot of views because people are like, I don't care about Christmas books. But hey, I only talked about 1 Christmas book in this video, so you should still be here. And I still have Christmas mugs out because I'm in mega packing mode, you guys. I love packing. I love being like organized like that. And I've already been packing and labeling stuff. So I actually packed a whole bunch of mugs and I only have a few left. So this is one of the ones that made the cut. It's 2 Christmas teddy bears and I'm okay with that. Yeah. Okay, what I got for Christmas, you guys. First of all, I got this sweater. It is like a swamp green? No, not swamp. More bluish green. Well, what would you say? It's not swamp. Swamp is more like dark, you know? This is like lighter. I don't know, but look at what it says. It says, I'm the oldest sister, I make the rules. Okay, I'm the oldest sister, and my 2 other sisters, so Cassandra got a sweater that says, I'm the middle sister, I am the reason we need rules. And then my youngest sister got, I'm the youngest, or the little sister, I break the rules, or the rules don't apply to me, or something like that. I don't know. If I can show you all 3 in the future, I will. But my mom got these from Amazon and she each gave us one. So that was really cute. She gave us each one. What? Okay, yeah. For the books, you guys. So my sweet friend Amanda, she sent me some books. So first of all, she sent me Anne of Avonlea. Again, audiobook of Anne of Green Gables said Avonlea. But everyone in my whole entire life I've heard Avonlea. So like, which one is it? I don't know, but it's Anne of Avonlea. This is book 2. And look, it matches. It matches. Yeah, so this is the special collector's edition. And they're really cute. Like, yes, they're mass market, but they're so stinking cute. I'm okay with it, you know? And look at Anne all grown up. Wow. So yeah, I will probably need to be reading this in 2026. We shall see. Oh. Okay. And then Amanda got me The Lady's Mind by Francine Rivers. You guys, how exciting. I read this book years ago when it came out as an ARC because I got approved of the ARC back in the day, and that was very exciting. So I never ended up buying it because I read it that way, and it's like an expensive book, you know. I mean, I don't know how much it is now, but yeah, before it also only came out in hardcover, but this is paperback, which is so nice because it'll match all my other Francine River paperbacks. So yeah, this is The Lady's Mind. It is the second book of the book club that we'll be reading. So in February, we're reading The Lady's Mind. Now I can read it physically because I was gonna have to like get it from the library or something because I don't own it, but now I do. So thank you, Amanda, so much. And again, if you guys want to join the Francine Rivers book club, it's not too late. Just join it, read it whenever you can. There's a FABLE book club, but I'll do stuff here on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. I'll put all the links below. Join us. It's really fun, and we're gonna just discuss all our thoughts about her books because her books are super heavy and intense. This is her most lighthearted one, but it's still pretty, like, a lot happens. It's also like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna, no spoilers, okay? Okay, I did kind of show these, but I want to show them again because I feel like people will be interested. So these are a lend. I got Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. This is from a friend. I was recently in her wedding, so she wanted to, why does that even matter? Okay. Anyways, Tress of the Emerald Sea. And then she also lent me Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. So I've heard that these are actually a series together. So I didn't know that. And I think, is this one, I don't know. There's another Yumi book, and apparently they're all in a series. So maybe I will read the series. We'll see. And then I don't remember if I showed this already, so I'm just going to show it again. I did get Faking Christmas by Cindy Steele as a birthday gift, so, but it came like in December, I think, so it felt like Christmas as well, from Lindsay Lemus. So thank you so much, Lindsay. She did send me this book. This is my favorite Christmas book, probably. It's a toss-up, you know. I should probably like do that, but I have done that. What am I even talking about? Anyways, love this book. Now I own it, and that's exciting. Okay, then 2 nonfictions that I got. I did get Seeing the Supernatural by Lee Strobel from my grandma for my birthday, and I just didn't show you guys. So it says investigating angels, demons, mystical dreams, near-death encounters, and other mysteries of the unseen world. Right up my alley because it's real out there. It's real. So I'm definitely going to read this in 2026, and I love Lee Strobel's writing, so I'm really excited to have another one of his books. And then lastly, I got Choose Joy by Kay Warren, Because Happiness Isn't Enough. And I read the back, and it's actually more like a biography, which I think is going to be really special. So it says, on April 5th, 2013, Kay Warren's life changed forever. That was the day she lost her son Matthew to suicide. So it's going to be a very heavy topic, but I think it's going to be very practical and relatable. So excited to read that one too. Just had a little coughing fit. Just for funsies, I will share the book I'm currently reading, Through Each Tomorrow by Gabrielle Meyer. I'm probably going to finish it today, so this won't be fully accurate, but I was hoping to finish this in December and I never got around to it because December was busy. It wasn't a super intense reading month. Like, basically, once I got off work for the Christmas holiday, I kind of stopped reading. Like, I'd started Through Each Tomorrow, and then I was like, meh, and I just listened to those thriller audiobooks instead. But this is giving 4 stars for now, okay? Because it's a little slow. Like, cool things are happening now, but I don't really get, like, I don't know. There's definitely, like, things I like about it, though. But I definitely, at this point, liked Through Each Tomorrow way better. So Through Each Tomorrow has not been topped yet. Wait. I'm confused. Okay. You know what? I'm keeping that all in. Every Hour Until Then. Okay. Every Hour Until Then has not been topped yet. Still my favorite compared to this book. But still like this book. But anyways. Okay. And even then, I liked Across the Ages at this point better than I'm liking Through Each Tomorrow too. Which is okay. You don't have to like every single book. And really, who would have thought that I would give this book 5 stars? But I did. And now Through Each Tomorrow is like, I don't know. To be honest, I don't like Charles's character. I don't like him. I'm like, stop being a butt, you know? Love Drew. Love Cecily. Love Evelyn. Charles, though, a little annoying. So that's all I can say. He's causing the problems. That's all I have to say. And anyways, okay. Okay, not sure when I'm putting this video up based on everything else, but okay, if you're still here, you're the best. If you're still here, put some kind of emoji in the comments. What should it be? How about a mug? A coffee mug, you guys. Put a coffee mug in the comments if you're still here, and tell me your favorite book that you read in December if you read any books. And then also tell me anything else you want. Okay? I'm in a funny mood. Thank you for being here, you guys. I love you all. I'm still doing kind of like wrap-up type videos. January is going to be slow-ish for videos. Hopefully not, actually. I do have a lot of plans, but will I do them is the question. And then we're going to start moving soon. I'm so excited. So yeah. Anyways, links below to all the things. Check it out. Thank you for being here. Goodbye. Okay. Cozy up with me. I'm excited to chat all about Are you going to continue?